Now, was it last week that we talked about that electric bike law in France?
Yes.
And I was afraid that we might have gone a little too far with our whole French thing. Turns out we might have. So JP just sent us this video to set us straight. Off with our bikes!
What's going on?
Well, the legal speed limit for standard e-bikes in France is 25 kilometers an hour. Well, now France has announced a new law, provision L317-1, that fines riders who are caught modding their bikes to go faster with up to 30,000 euros of fine and up to a year in jail.
What?
Hi Zach and Jesse, so after Tesla Time News last week, I did a little digging and here's what I found about Article 317-1. So first, I've learned that this law not only applies to e-bikes, but to any vehicles that has its speed limited at a manufacturing level. So, for example, mopeds, scooters, and even road trucks. Then I've learned that e-bikes were not really limited to 25 kph, because they can fall into two different categories. Either they are PABs, pedal assist bikes, or they're considered as mopeds, and mopeds can go up to 45 kph. So what was this law actually made for? Turns out it was actually targeting scooters, because those, whatever the case may be, are only limited to 25 kph. And I guess it would be easy to spot one that goes faster than that. And as for the fine and the year in jail, it's the maximum sentence that you can get if you modify or tinker with your vehicle so that it can exceed its manufacturing capabilities. So that's it. I hope you now better understand the French laws, and don't forget, now you know.
So it's good to know that this is aimed at e-scooters, the scourge of the world. I mean, how dare you want to ride in scooter? Ugh! But this is still a really bad law.
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, the first EU directive relating to e-bikes was put into place in 2002. Now,
There were e-bikes in 2002?
there were, and I just want to remind everyone what like 2002 was like. That was 18 years ago.
We were allowed to shake hands back then.
Now, back then in 2002, that's where the 250 watt and 25 kilometer per hour speed limit came from.
Okay, can you remind me what e-bikes even looked like in 2002?
They were huge. They resembled motorcycles because they had to have lead acid batteries in them, which made them extraordinarily heavy and big. So you had these really big bicycles that looked like motorcycles, and they were really, really expensive. Really, really expensive. If you wanted one of these, you were paying through the nose for this basically brand new technology. So this was only for serious bike enthusiasts, people who really wanted to have a really, really nice bike.
It doesn't look like there's a hub motor on that thing.
There wasn't. And so all of these bikes were mid-drive. Now, you might be like, mid-drive, who cares if it's hub motor or not? Here's the thing. 250 watts in a mid-drive motor means that your pedaling was now assisted right at the pedals. So if you geared down to go up a hill, you had that 250 watts helping you out right at the pedals with the mechanical advantage, made going up hills pretty easy. But it was expensive. And guess what? Mid-motors are still expensive. Mm-hmm. The cheapest e-bikes today have hub motors. The problem with hub motors is you lose that mechanical advantage.
Oh, so you got to make the hub motor bigger to overcome the fact that you can't get up a hill without it.
Exactly. So 250 watts in a hub motor, depending on the gearing, isn't going to help you as much as a mid-drive motor.
Oh, and the French law limits you to 250 watts, but if I want to get up a hill and I want to say a 500 watt motor to help me, now I'm breaking the law.
Exactly. Now, the precedent was set in 2002 in Europe. And so I'm not even like making fun of France here. All of Europe. They decided 250 watts for these crazy weirdo motorcycle bikes. And this is extraordinarily similar to the overreaction and overregulation of cars at the turn of the century. When cars first came out, you had to have a guy with a flag walking in front of the car.
Oh, I remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, you don't actually
don't
remember that. But that actually happened. And because people were like, well,
Who are driving these wacko horseless carriages? These sound dangerous. We should put a guy with a flag in front of these horseless
Sounds
carriages.
like a good law. All in favor? Aye.
and they could only go like 5 miles an hour.
Right.
By law, right? So they were severely limited in every way as well.
By the horse lobby.
E-bikes today are completely different than the e-bikes of yesteryear, right? They are so much cheaper. They are very approachable for almost everybody. They are much, much lighter with lithium-ion batteries, so they are no longer these big, bulky, heavy things. You can get an e-bike that weighs just about the same as a regular bike, and they could be a game changer in terms of climate change, traffic, health, and pollution. They're affordable, they are parkable, they are fast, they are efficient and clean and easy to ride. They allow their riders to tackle hills, to go as fast as pro bikers without quads the size of watermelons. And you can even arrive to your morning meeting without being covered in sweat.
I think that's a really good point. A lot of bike riders have to bring a change of clothes or a shower when they get to work if you have a long ride.
250 watts is not enough for casual riders, and it's going to result in the lack of adoption for this technology. And I think that that's a mistake. E-bikes could be a huge part of the solution to climate change as well as all of these other things. They are great ways to get exercise without completely exhausting yourself, and if they would just change the law slightly from this antiquated 18-year-old law passed way back when e-bikes were completely different, it would make such an important impact on the world. When something isn't affordable and like you're just like, who is this for? Like, we should regulate this. This seems dangerous. That is when those kinds of laws get passed. But now when it's actually like affordable and helpful for people, I mean, this is going to be so much more equitable for most people. Right now, if you want to get around a city, you're going to need to take a car. Sure, you could take a bike, but there are many cities where it's either too hilly, too far, and people either aren't in that great a shape or they physically can't bicycle themselves around. And e-bikes are going to be the solution to that.
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, if you're worried in this legislation about mopeds, then make a law about mopeds. But why are e-bikes lumped in there, and why is there this 250 watt limit? Because that, to me, is ableist. If I'm a person who needs extra help getting up a hill, give me as much help as I need. Why should that be against the law now that Zach is getting help going up a hill?
Right. And I think that speed limits are important. I mean, I do not want fast bikes going on, sidewalks.
Period, though. See, put a period after that.
Right.
Like, if you're a bicyclist who's running your bike completely on pedal power, still, I don't want to get hit by someone going, 40 miles an hour doing that either. So just say bikes on this stretch of road are at whatever, 25 kilometers an hour, period.
Right. But I think that having like bike highways where it's like, okay, pedestrians aren't allowed on this is just for bikes. The density of traffic that you can fit in terms of people per, square foot is going to be so much higher. There's going to be less traffic, less, traffic fatalities because, two bikes getting into an accident, you go like, oh, I'm sorry, you okay? Wow, I really dinged up your bike there. Like, there's no like, oh my God, my whole family died. Right. And it's clean, it's efficient. Like, there's so many benefits to e-bikes, and you're basically cutting them off at the knees by limiting them to 250 watts. I would say 750 to maybe 1,000 watts would be where I would draw the line, and then just have strict speed limits. Like, you can't go faster than this.
I just don't like the whole throttle regulation, that now all of a sudden if you have a thumb throttle, well, oh no. Oh, this thing
now
is,
that's a moped. Wait a minute.
That thing's deadly now.
It's going to be traveling at roughly the same speed as a bike, unless you're going over the speed limit, which we just talked about. And what that allows you to do is actually be safer, because at dangerous intersections, having that thumb throttle to pop down, 750 watts of power means that you can cross the road much quicker, much safer, without you having to like, oh no, I'm in 7th gear. Oh no, oh, that car's going to come hit me and I'm going to die.
Well, and I want to point out that in New York City right now, e-bikes are saving the day.
Wait a minute. I thought that e-bikes were also not allowed in the whole state of New York.
They aren't. So as more and more people are staying hunkered down at home and are ordering food to be delivered during this double plus bad cold, New York City has decided to shelve their ban on e-bikes with a throttle. The New York Police Department will no longer issue tickets or confiscate e-bikes for delivery workers. City Hall spokesman Freddie Goldstein said, "We will be suspending enforcement while restaurants are takeout and delivery only. And then we'll go right back to taking your e-bikes with throttles."
So they're so good. They're doing such a good job right now.
Yeah.
that they're
That
going to
we
be like,
need them.
oh, we need them right now. But as soon as this crisis is over, we're going to crack down back on you suckers with your throttles. How dare you? But right now, please, I'm so hungry, man. Oh, man, I couldn't even get to the grocery store today. But but we're going to get you out. I'm really hungry.
See, it's not just France we're picking fun at.
Yeah.
It's the state of New York doesn't get it either. Anyone who doesn't understand that e-bikes are wonderful technology.
And and it's all based on context, right? E-bikes used to be the most expensive type of bike besides like motorcycle or moped, right? It used to be only the rich and powerful could afford e-bikes, and they would do like weird, like, I'm going to go ride up 3 mountains today. And you're like, who are you? You know? But now just normal people can actually afford e-bikes. Why even have these terrible laws? Let's just make laws that actually work and actually will benefit all of us.
And I just want to point out, if we made laws like Elon has said, with sunset clauses, then these laws would have expired. And, you know, after 2002, maybe it would expire in 5 years or something. And if you wanted to reinstitute it, you'd have to go to the trouble of reinstituting it.
Something has to change, and the infrastructure has to change with it. So that includes bike lanes and scooter lanes and all of this kind of stuff. Instead of just like being like, this stuff doesn't work with our infrastructure. How about you change the infrastructure? That's my thought. And that's all we said about that.
The show's called E-Bike Frustration.
Thanks so much for watching this Now You Know clip.
Head over to Now You Know channel for full episodes of Tesla Time news and in depth.
And if you want to treat yourself and your family to something amazing, check this out.
Jesse and I have been enjoying Masterclass, where we've been learning all sorts of fun topics from the masters themselves. Comedy from Judd Apatow.
Screenwriting from Aaron Sorkin.
Investigative journalism from Bob Woodward.
Tennis from Serena Williams.
And so many more.
Click the link down below to support our channel and experience what it's like to learn from the masters at Masterclass.